Hello, my name is Cornel Burzo. I'm a European 7-down player, and in this video I'm going to show you one of my favorite games of Takemiya Masaki, who is also called a Cosmic Style player. And as you can see in the final picture of the board, he really managed to turn a great Moya into territory in the middle of the board. Usually you want to set up the Moya in a box shape, and he did it perfectly. And this particular game, it's quite spectacular because of a few special moves in the middle game, and we will get into it in a moment. First of all, I like to mention that the game was played in 1998 against Hane Naoki, who was in his early 20s back then, I think something like 23. And this is a game played in the Tengen preliminary rounds. So it's one of the games that was probably played when Takemiya was not in his prime time anymore, but still he was one of the great players in Japan back then. He used to win many titles between 70s and 90s, and well, he's close to 70 years old right now, but he's still active and performs pretty well. Also on the go board and dancing or playing backgammon, he's got lots of skills, so quite a great player and human being. So that being said, let's get into the game and have a look. First of all, the game starts with a sun and stay, 3 star points on one side. This is probably one of the Fuseki patterns that Takemiya used to play a lot back in the day, and he perfected this pattern. Nowadays you don't see it played so much, and it's not even recommended by AI, thinking that it's inferior because it's a strategy that goes for outside thickness, and playing with Komi 7.5 these days, or playing against the Komi 7.5, it's preferred to be more active, and also the tendency is to play more territorial. This game was played with 5.5 Komi. I think the Komi switched to 6.5 later on, like in the early 2000s. So white approached the Sun SA with a normal Kakari. Nowadays you would see a Sun invasion like R3 or R17. And here Takemiya played his first special move, this fancy Kosumi in the middle. Usually against the 017 approach, you would see a simple one space jump defense in the corner, or black can also think about a pincer. Now another move that black can consider is simply extend to the middle of the side. All these moves were very popular, especially when playing a Sun and say influence-oriented strategy. But Takemiya was really fond of playing this Kosumi, and he was playing it a lot in that time. Now, AI would recommend the Shimari in the top left corner, and this is what Hane Naoki is playing here also. Well, nowadays the Shimari, like loose one, and also the loose and high Shimari, it's more popular. But playing the low and high Shimari, it's absolutely fine too. So in this position, the key point on the top side would be to extend to K16, both for white and black. So black is taking the extension to prevent white from catching such a nice point. So if black plays away, for example, trying to enclose the corner or extend to the middle of the bottom side, white would be very happy to extend in the top, because this is ideal for the top left Shimari. So black is taking white's nice middle side extension. Therefore, white is playing in the corner and try to grab some points. Now, Hane Naoki's style is very steady and solid and extremely territorial oriented. So he feels very comfortable grabbing the territory early on, and then playing a solid endgame to win. Now, if black blocks on the other side, normally the intuition would be to block on the right side, because black has the middle side extension at Q10, so he can block the side where he can build more. But in this case, if this happens, white will take center in the top right corner, so he will keep initiative, and then white can approach the bottom side in order to limit black's expansion. So the Fuseki would actually look pretty good for white, because black has most of his stones focused or concentrated on one side, and in the meantime white is developing faster on the other sides. Therefore, black blocks the top side in this case and separates white. And it's also important who will end up center in this corner fight in order to grab another big point. So the variation that follows was actually quite common, especially when playing the p15. And here we see that black jumps instead of playing the block, the Hane at r15. If this happens, white will Hane under, and black still needs to play r14. But he plays r14 right away. Now if we switch the order of moves and white goes s15, black is not going to play r15 anymore, but block to put more pressure and build more on the right side. So white again plays the attach, black blocks, white has to pull back and keep connected, and black protects against the cutting point. Now white expands the corner. If white allows this descend at q18, so for example white extends to the middle of the bottom side, then black immediately goes down to q18 and then also blocks r15 in center. This would be quite painful for white to accept, because now o17 is losing the ag, and black gets a perfect shape in the top right corner. So white is playing the Hane and connect. Now in this position, you may think that black needs a connection at p17, but if black does this, it's going to end up in gote, and it's also gote for white to cut at p17. So black can actually consider tenuki and go for another big point in the most open sides. And this is what actually happens in the game. So black extends to the middle of the bottom side. Well, here black could also extend k4, but I guess the difference is quite sensitive, and probably it's also related to the game plan that black will show in a few moves, as he's looking for a very big center. So he went a little bit tight here, but anyway, it's not a big difference. Now when we see a Hoshi, a start point, and two middle side extension, one here and one here, normally in this kind of situation, which is also called a double wing formation, white should invade the corner in San-San, in the 3-3 point. And that's exactly the move he plays. Now here black can block either on the right side at r4 or on the bottom at q3. So in this position, black blocked the right side, because this is where he got more potential to build his Moya. So if we check the Joseki when black is blocking the bottom side, like this, let's say we play the same basic pattern but facing this direction, so this Joseki ends up center for white, and now white can play another move to limit the expansion of the Moya in this direction. Therefore, it's correct to play r4 in this case and go for the right side. So now the Joseki, it's played standard. Well, in this case, they play the exchanges here, which you don't see nowadays so much, but it's also fine to play them, because already black has a stone at q10. So normally white would skip the exchange at s3, s4, just to leave more room on the right side to be able to invade, but it's not the case here. That would be the AI suggestion. So white finally white goes for the territory with a cut at p17, but actually at this stage white should already think about ways to reduce the middle. So he can throw a stone around here or even deeper. White should think about a move to break the imaginary line between the top extension and the bottom one. So this would be like the sector line, and if white plays some move around here, or this spot. Pretty much any move in this area, it's good enough to reduce the big potential on the right side, the Moya. So white prefers to cut. This is because his style is extremely territorial oriented. Now what happens next is what makes this game really special, and probably that's why I remember it and I like it so much. First of all, black plays an inside approach, so here a pincer would be expected, because if black simply approaches from the bottom side, and let's say he plays this kind of modern Joseki, white is happy with the development on the left side. And the bottom area is not that big, because white can still push under from this direction. So black is playing on the left side, and now if white simply defends f3, black can slide, for example, and extend to make a base, so he can control the left side. And in this case, white should probably extend again to the on the bottom. Otherwise, it's very nice for black to attack from h3, feels comfortable. So he develops the left side and also expands the bottom area. Therefore, white plays a pincer, and he's looking to work the Moya with the c15 corner enclosure, the Shimari. So black simply goes out. And what happens next, it's actually an excellent way to set up the Moya and to go for the cosmic play, which is black's famous 4. So here black jumps again. Normally you would see black sliding and making a base. This would be an old school Joseki, but it's not so great to have the stones on the second line, the so-called line of defeat. And of course Takemiya wouldn't really enjoy that. He would probably feel that the stones will fall off the board. His style is to go on the high position, not low. So black is jumping again. Now white being territorial, he simply protects the corner. And the next two moves are really making the game special. So first of all, black jumps with a very large knight move. It's not an Ogema, it's not a Kema. I would call it an XXL Ogema, because a Kema would be just here and Ogema this one. So what he's trying to do with this kind of jump is to connect to the top, to K16. But in the same time, he's putting pressure on the D9 stone. So white extends on the left side, being very calm and keep grabbing territory this way. Then black jumps again. So in a few moves, black managed to connect this sector line. So, and now he's also looking to connect with the bottom and with the top and turn this box into a big territory. And actually, as you could notice, this game is quite peaceful. Most of the time when you see a Moya forming like that, you feel like jumping inside and try to find a way to live inside the Moya and break it. But this time, white probably felt too confident with the territories he grabs in the corners and on the sides. So he didn't feel the need to get in. So they continue quite peacefully. Well, this is a way to reduce from the top and being connected. So black just blocks. And now the territory it's formed. I mean, as you can see, black connects all his stones and he just locks that center. And then they proceed to the endgame stage, which is also one of the parts or the skill that Takemiya has. He's very good in counting and playing the last moves in a game. So he can really estimate how the Moya can turn into territory. It's really difficult to play a game of this kind, trying to put all your eggs in one basket. Usually it doesn't work. But Takemiya is a special player, and he made it work many times, also in title matches. I think he's won something like 21 domestic titles, and he was the runner-up in another 20 or so. So his performance in tournaments was really astonishing, and he always made his center magic work. So as you can see now, they switch to moves on the second line. These are more valuable in the endgame stage of the game. Now white is damaging a few more points in the center. Now in this position, black decided to give up the 3 stones. He could connect by playing L17 and then block at K18. But if this happens, black will be gote. So white can play another big point somewhere else. For example, block this way. But connecting here, black is adding up another stone, but he sacrifices everything just to keep center. The principle says you should add or give up a few more points just to keep center. And this is exactly what happened here. So white normally needs to... white played one exchange here in center, and then he came back to capture. So when Atari, just take. And like this, black blocked the top side at K18, and he still has initiative to play big moves. So he jumps in the top left. This reducing its all center. Well, black can risk a ko, like this, in order to damage more in the top left corner, but he doesn't need it. He's about 10 to 15 points ahead at this stage. Even that, white managed to build something like 85 points overall. That box, when you count it, it's over 100. Quite impressive. So at this point, white gave up, resigned the game. So what really makes this game special are the 2 moves in the center, where he jumped and managed to seal in enclose the Moya. This one and this one. So it's really interesting to see how black set up this Moya and managed to keep it till the end to win the game in a very peaceful way. I hope you enjoyed this game, and in case you did, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you have any suggestions on what kind of professional games to comment next or anything like that, please send me your recommendations and I'll see what I can do. So thank you very much for watching, and see you guys next time.